It is a play on words. This was a favorite game of Billy Mays, the late Billy Mays, and while his name is spelled differently, the sound is the same, and it is named after for Billy Mays.
Yeah.
It's originally called 7 Up, and a lot of people may know it by that. Hi, Jerry, and welcome to the booth.
All right, I'm so excited. This is the most fun and exciting new game of shuffleboard that we've had in a really long time.
Yes, we just finished a few minutes ago, kind of discussing the game and the difference in some of the tactics and strategy that you'll see in this game. And one of the things that a lot of people like about it that play it is it's a game that moves very quickly. You can get a lot of them in, and it just adds a whole other dimension to a shooter's game.
It really does. It's a game where you can truly be as aggressive as you could possibly be at the beginning, and really makes for a fun frames and fun start to any game. Like, even though in normal shuffleboard he has a 4 down there, you're really worried, but in this game that doesn't really mean anything.
No, it does not, and especially if Eddie were to put another 4 down there beside it.
Okay, that would be really, really bad.
It would be really bad.
So there, Eddie has to make sure that he has no possibility for Josh to be able to pick out a weight, pick out his own weight, or bump Eddie's weights up. So now here Eddie cannot throw anything but a 1, and it needs to really be shorter, a shorter one, because what Josh would want to do here is either pick out his red weight or bump a weight up.
Exactly. Yes, Eddie definitely could be down there in that deuce range where
Yeah, I mean,
he might get bumped up.
absolutely needs to be very short.
And you might almost say Josh is almost drawing dead here, unless he can pull off some kind of a miracle shot.
If Josh could hit his own red weight out, he would win. I mean, so that's what's so fun about that game. He had
Well, the score was 0-0.
so it was 7.
Right?
Yeah, they're right. Never mind.
So
he only had 7. It would have
Josh
given him a
couldn't
win.
afford to pick his
Yeah,
own out in
that's
that
true.
spot. Maybe if he could have bumped
Yeah.
one of Eddie's weights up to a 3 and not stayed on.
Yeah. Again, fun thing about this game is there's no problem being ahead 4-0. Josh has nothing to worry here.
Oh no, you can be down 6-0 and still be very much alive. in this
Without a
game.
doubt.
You always have chances to win this one,
So now Eddie
especially if you have hammer.
Eddie has to be careful here. He does not want to stick a weight
No, definitely not something
deep.
deep that Josh could get aggressive on and put Eddie into a bust situation.
Exactly.
So Eddie's basically in this frame. Eddie's just quite content to keep the board clear and let Josh have his lag.
Yep. Josh is just going to practice his lags here. He doesn't really have any worries as far as Eddie doing anything.
Oh, that's a miss for Eddie, but it's not bad. Josh can't get out with this hammer.
It's not detrimental at that
And
point.
so Eddie will have the hammer coming back in a position to lag a 3 or a deuce with 1 working and get out.
Great thing about this game is rarely do you get the opportunity to just straight lag. So 7 is being the only chance where you really can give yourself being on 4 a chance to lag. But again, if you lag a 4, you lose.
Yes.
So you have to be very conservative with your lag. Unlike regular shuffleboard, this is really not a lagging game.
No, this is definitely a shooter's game.
Yeah.
And which is why you'll see a lot of aggression in spots where you wouldn't normally see it in a regular game of knockoff shuffleboard.
Absolutely.
Now here Eddie's put a nice little wrap in there. Looks like he's got a deep deuce, maybe a 3. It was a deep
Little
deuce,
deuce.
there,
Yep.
which is good if Eddie
Nice
still has
shot.
that working at the end. Josh looks
Josh
like he's going
like
to
to-
come down here and try to combo that out.
Yeah, double stick that weight.
Didn't quite get there.
Okay, so
Now, do you think Eddie here does he try to get just a little past that red, or does he just try to cover the hole and try to hang on to that deuce?
he needs to be back behind the other side of the red. He needs to be shorter than the red. He cannot afford for Josh to bump him up here.
Right.
I would
He
guess
might have
that's
gotten a little bit
little
deep there.
deeper than he wanted to be.
Because now if Josh could get in there and tap that to another deuce, Eddie would
Yeah.
have to take one of them off.
So here, I will be very surprised if Josh does anything but try and tap weights now.
Because again, Josh can win simply by busting Eddie.
Yep. It's first person to 7, but not more than 7.
So that looks like what Josh is doing. He's going to try to give it just a little bit of a tap.
Just give it a tap.
See if he can turn that into a bust
Perfect
score,
shot.
and he did. So
So
Eddie now has too many points on the board.
Eddie has to come down, and he now has to try and make a combo of some sort to clear those weights out.
Another option for him also might be to just come down real hard up that left rail and pick one of those deuces out.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to shoot for the combo, and didn't quite get him. But he did clear the clutter out of the way.
That's a good shot to try and get yourself out of trouble with your last weight.
Yes, he'll be in a position now to be able to at least pick one of those two out.
Yep.
Because if Eddie can get on 6, he's in a good spot. 6 is pretty much the magic number if you've got 6 in the hammer.
So Josh here, normal shuffleboard, you would probably just cover your weight. I would not be surprised to see Josh come in here and try and tap that weight again to move it from the light deuces that he has into a 2, and a 3. Though that would be a perfect scenario.
Absolutely. Put him in a spot where Eddie wouldn't even have the option to stick his
Yep.
own weight for one.
Yeah, he's just going to try and cover and keep Eddie from making that combination on him.
Looks like a pretty
Mike
good
got a
shot right
little
there.
too. Oh, moved out for him at the very last minute, but he's
That's a
probably
good
going to be able to
spot.
pop his deuce out of there.
Yes, Eddie will have to. Eddie's best case scenario is settle for 2 here.
Yeah, he just wants to hit that weight.
There he goes and gets it out of there. So Eddie picks up 2 points, puts him on 6. 6 is pretty much the magic number in this game. Once you can get on 6, if you can control the hammer, you're in a great spot to win.
Josh wasn't sure if he wanted. He said that was the shot he wanted to make, but I'm surprised he didn't try and bump it. It's just setting up go-arounds now, and anything here is good. He wants Eddie to stick a weight.
Yes, and because if Eddie can stick a weight, that gives Josh several options. One is to wrap weights in, another is to bump Eddie up. And on our non-feature board, we've got a pretty exciting game going there at 6-5.
Yeah.
With, Junior against Marcus. And Marcus sitting on 5 and has the hammer in that frame. Now Josh can afford to be a little bit deeper with this weight here.
I would think that Josh is trying to throw a deuce right here.
Yeah, it didn't quite
Came
get
up
there.
a little bit short, but he was definitely trying to throw a deuce. He'd like to see Eddie drive this weight. He'll just take his
Eddie
1 or 2.
played the frame as well as he could there, and he's just going to let Josh go with his
Josh
hammer.
this is a free lag right here. It doesn't matter what you lag. You're still in the same situation.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you lagged a 4, it was a great day, but even if you throw it off, it doesn't hurt you really.
Well, you're almost better here not to lag a 4, because at 6-6, you have to be careful that you don't put yourself in a bust position.
Exactly.
Versus at 6-5 or 6-4, Josh could, with his last weight, put a 2 or a 3, and Eddie doesn't have any choice but to hit and go.
So on the non-featured board, we were talking about the score was 6-5, and Marcus just bumped Junior to a deuce, but he just went ahead and knocked it off. So it's
Which is
open
absolutely
board
necessary.
again.
Now, I believe this is hammer coming down on that board.
I think that's the third weight. Okay.
And correct you were, that was third weight. So now Junior has to be a little careful here. He kind of wants a weight on the board, but doesn't want it anywhere close to a bumpable weight.
Foul line. Okay, so
Back to our-
Josh, he's again just throwing weights up there. So this is an interesting shot here. Junior showing off because he did throw a short weight, which I thought is exactly what he would throw here. And
it looks like Marcus was still going to try to bump it up, and that didn't work out for him.
okay, so here Josh has lots of options. Eddie has thrown a short weight because he is hoping that Josh will either throw his weight off, trying to go around, or he'll make it to where he can make a combination. He'd really like to be able to combo those weights out to win.
But he does have to be careful when he shoots that he does not stick. And he got one of them out of there. So Josh here can still come down and try to get a 2 or a 3 in there.
That was the end of the frame.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Travis is having trouble counting.
Well, I was trying to watch 2 boards, and I got lost in the weight count.
So that last frame, obvious things to think about is Eddie has no opportunity to lag there. So in a normal game of 15-point shuffleboard, we would actually lag most of the time.
Yes.
But here, that is not an opportunity. If you pass those weights and throw a 2, game over, you lost. So a lot of knocking off weights and sticking to win more often than anything else.
Yes. Because even though he has hammer here, he's content to keep hammer and let Josh continue scoring until the score gets to 6-6. Because
Yeah.
at 6-6 with hammer, the player with hammer is a very, very high percentage to win. Much higher than at 14-14 in a regular game of shuffleboard.
So now Eddie again threw a safety shot. That's his short weight. He's hoping that can be his game winner, and hoping that Josh put his weights where he could make a combination. Tried to make a cross combination there. Okay. He's just going to keep making this really hard for Eddie to make a combo. Oops.
He got a little deep with that one, maybe.
Little too close to his weights.
Eddie's definitely got a combo shot at this. And he got him. And Joshua's only real play here is to put something deep and hope that Eddie sticks it.
Yeah, hope he misses at this point. Just gonna pass it, throw something down there, hope that Eddie doesn't hit it.
Down just about to the label. And Eddie did knock it off, so Eddie wins game 1.
And you notice that they all leaned in that because Eddie hit that weight so straight. If he had stuck it, obviously he loses. So, again, you have to make sure you hit and go, otherwise you lose that game.
Yes.
So we're back to
We're
the
now
beginning of the game?
beginning a game. This is game 2 of a 3-game set. Eddie's ahead, leads this set 1-0, and looks like on the other side down here, looks like David Jr. won the first game.
I think Junior lost that game. Marcus won the game by
you are
wrapping
right.
a 2. Just playing around with these weights here. Again, beginning of the game, super aggressive. Everybody really goes for every shot you can make, every go around you can possibly come up with. Eddie's going to try and go around it as well. He's going to try for a bump this time.
Got a pretty good speed there. Nice little bump up. Pretty close to a 3, looks like.
Josh pulls out his little finger shot to try and stick that weight down the rail. Looks like he does.
Rolled it over a little bit more than maybe he wanted to, but it's not in a good spot still.
Solid 3. Really nice shot right there.
Nice shot with the stick.
Has actually
Push it.
5 working. Josh will just try and stick that weight back.
And he does.
Yep. Expect to see more going around and
So
super aggressive play on this frame as well.
Definitely expect Eddie to play very aggressive here.
Yeah.
Eddie may even try to sit on this weight a little bit.
Doesn't really matter that that's a 2. Fun thing about this game is occasionally you actually have a game that goes out in one frame.
Yes, you do.
It's good for a good laugh on everybody's side.
And I've seen it where you go out in one frame, whether from scoring 7 or from busting in one frame.
Right. Oh, Eddie was hoping that weight would sit up there.
Yes, he would have been happy to have that weight still on the table.
Josh is in good situation, though. Even if he sticks anything here, there's no way he can bust. So, again, just get to play as aggressive as you pretty much want these first couple of frames.
Yes, until somebody gets on a number that they can lag out from, really okay to play around. Now, one thing some of our players that aren't familiar with the game may have noticed is that they did not re-wax the board out in between the games here because the game goes fairly quick. Unless the board is just severely trashed up, players will typically play a couple games on it before they re-wax it.
Pretty much, you try if you're playing a 2 out of 3 match, you probably try and play your 2 out of 3.
At least play the 2 and look at re-waxing the board on the 3rd.
One more time.
They were.
Finish the game at the starting point. You are off again at 4:30, unless otherwise stated. If you see 4:30, don't move to the bracket board. We have a bunch of games waiting for people who have walked away.
Oh, we had to take a little quick time out there for an announcement. We're back to live play, and we got, I believe Josh has hammered this frame, correct? And Eddie lagged off.
Yes. Lagging off does not hurt you here.
No, and Eddie's a very, very smart player at this game. He can find a lot of ways to beat you, even at times that you think you're in complete control of the game.
Yeah, these 4 guys, they play this game more than anybody else probably. One of the first times we played this was at Volcanoes when we were having a Memorial tournament for Billy Mays. This game was developed by Billy. It was one of his favorite things. He called it a variety of names, but most of the time he called it 7-Up. And then the guys have decided it should be called Texas Mays in his honor. But the first time we played it, we played a doubles match, and Josh and Rena drew up. And they had game on the board. And it took them a solid 10 minutes of talking to finally figure out that they actually had won the game. And if they just threw the weight off the end, the game was over.
The game was over, yes.
They've obviously come a long way since then. But back then,
yes,
trying to figure out.
I remember that tournament. It was new to all of us. I remember growing up playing with Bill Melton, one of the best shuffleboard players of all time. And he and I got beat by 2 threes.
You bet.
Because Bill and I couldn't figure out any of the tactics and strategy. We were just lost,
Right.
and we kept busting because Bill did what Bill does. He lagged.
Yep.
And he kept putting a deep weight down there, and we would lose on it.
I don't know if you remember in that tournament, a 2 from Houston, Sam Sharaf, is actually the winner of that tournament, and the score would be 4-5 to nothing, 6 to nothing, and he would bump everybody out and everybody would bust every time. So he ended up winning all of his games without any problem. It was very funny.
And far, not so much by outscoring his opponents, but by outplaying them with the strategy of using the bust score.
Okay, well, we were not paying very good attention here, but that was a 3 and a 1, and that gets Eddie out. He was trying to bump that weight, so Josh wins that match.
Well, that puts the matches at even then. So
yeah,
we're at 1-1.
That's
so
right.
This will be the rubber.
Okay, Travis has to keep me organized. So going to game 3, they are going to re-wax the board just because it's really pretty tracked up.
So while they're waxing that, we'll keep an eye over here on the other board that's playing.
Yep, this
David
is
Jr. has a 3-point lead, and Marcus looks like he's shooting with his hammer to stick a weight, and he does. So that should tie the score on that end at 3 apiece, which is a very good score. The nice thing about 3, a lot of ways to get out. 2 deuces, a 3 and a 1, or you could even lag a 4 and get out.
Yeah.
I was also in this tournament. I played Marcus my first round, And in the first game, he had a 4-2 lead and lagged a 3 and went out on me. And in the second game, I had a 6-3 lead on him, and he lagged a 4 and went out on me.
Oh, nice.
So Marcus is lagging very well. It wasn't the normal Mays trying to bump up so much as he lagged the right score at the right time.
Yep. Great thing about 3, you like to be on 3. It's about the best number, the easiest, most relaxing number that you have, because you can't bust unless you have multiple weights on the board.
Yes. And even 4 is a fairly decent score. You're usually not in a bad bust position at 4. Now 5 can be very dangerous.
Yes.
Trouble with trying to lag from 5 is if you try to lag a deuce and it floats a little bit, you bust yourself. All right, it looks like our featured players don't seem to have any money on them. And they're over here bumming quarters off the commentators. That's all right. I think we get a percentage of their winnings for the rental on that quarter.
No doubt about it. Always going to be my lucky quarter.
And here's Junior lagging on the non-featured board. Looks like David Junior lagged a
little deuce
in there to put himself on 5, which is good and bad at the same time. So again, the trouble with 5 is, notice here that if you can see that board, I don't know if that one's even being shown, but David threw his first weight off. He doesn't want his weights on the table at 5 because of the opportunity Marcus would have to bust him.
Absolutely. If it's, you're on 5, you throw your first weight up there, they can trap it, cover it, bump it, intentionally miss it.
Yes. And if you have a deuce up there, you can't cover it. So your opponent is free to just keep trying to lag 3s and ignore your deuce and save it till the end. And if they need to take it off at the end, they can. But in the meantime, you wouldn't be able to cover it. So here David's just banging weights off, looks like. We're back over to the main feature board, are we?
Yes, we are. So starting off the frame quite quickly, we have Eddie threw a 3 down there. Josh set up on it, or just threw to the side of it, and he now covered it. Josh would like to make a combination off his weight, stick them both. He was hoping to have 4 or 5 working right there.
Sure. And who wouldn't like to have 4 or 5 working in their first frame?
Gonna try and go around here.
Wow. Now on the non-featured board, Marcus just shot at a deep weight of David Jr.'s and tapped him to a 3 to bust Junior and win that match. So Marcus wins the match on the non-featured board. Oh, wait a minute.
Nope.
Now they're saying it's not a 3. Now they're saying it's a deuce, so Marcus made a mistake in bumping it up. Didn't get it quite as deep as he thought.
So that goes into game 3 over there.
So we've got a rubber game going on both boards now.
A lot of trash talking when it comes to Maze.
Yes, it's a very fun game to play. Even as serious as these guys are about playing it, they do enjoy the banter during the game.
So a deep one and pretty much a good cover weight. Josh drives that into a deuce to score there. Okay. Still early. Josh has got every opportunity. He can throw 2s, 3s, whatever he wants down there.
Yeah, so they can both just keep pumping deep weights. They can go ahead and play around, wrap weights, set up on weights. Looks like Eddie's going to come in here and try to get something in behind that.
It's a super fun game for giving yourself a chance to make shots that you normally wouldn't make in a tournament.
Yeah, absolutely, because in a tournament, you're not going to come out playing hyper-aggressive right off the get.
Yeah, probably not going to try and go around almost a deuce unless you're in trouble.
And certainly not in a first frame or 2.
Right. Looks like Josh has got 2 and a 1 working here. Eddie's probably just going to bump his weight up. Or actually he's going to go around.
I just glanced over at the non-featured board. They're in a first frame, and there's 5 weights on the table.
Boy, look at this.
Oh, just a little heavy
Oh, that was a killer.
there. Eddie can't believe it himself. Where did that weight go?
Josh
Even Josh is laughing about it.
Josh is thinking, hey, I think I'll throw that same exact shot in there. But actually,
No,
he's
he
just
decided to
covering his
just
weight.
to plug that hole and cover that weight a little bit.
He wouldn't mind getting on 4. There we go.
So Eddie got that deuce knocked out of there. Josh trying to decide what to do here.
He's also looking at the other board that seeing what Marcus has to shoot at over there. Looks like Marcus has got
Maybe got a little wide with that shot.
lots to shoot at. Okay. Eddie's probably just going to lag here.
I would think so. Just going to try to lag a 2 or 3, get himself on the board. Looks like it has a fairly good speed. They're going to make it all the way. And just a little bit short.
So Josh goes up 3-0.
But again, even though Josh is almost halfway to his magic number of 7, because you're only playing to 7, you can get there with only 2 weights. So it's still very possible for Eddie to score 7 in a frame and get out. Or if Eddie just gets a 2 or a 3 here and stays close in the game,
Yeah,
he's always going to have opportunities to get out
you
by
don't have to
scoring
worry
7.
about.
And he can also put himself in a position to bust Josh.
You bet. Don't have to worry about getting behind in this game early. It can be 5-0 and you're still in good shape.
Absolutely. This is a game, though, that you definitely want to play the scoreboard. You need to understand what your score is, what your opponent's score is, and know how to play a particular frame to give yourself best chances to win a game.
Josh is just going to knock off. He sticks. He doesn't really care whether he sticks or not. Weight sucked off the side a little bit. Here comes, I think this is his 3rd weight. Maybe not. This is actually his hammer. Looks good.
Looks like it's going to sit in there nicely. Oh, just did hang on there at the end. A 1/4 inch more speed and that weight is gone. Very nice lag for Eddie Villarreal.
Good round right there.
So Eddie's in a good spot here, sitting on 4. Josh is in a great spot, sitting on 3. Andy has hammer.
Now we start tightening up the game a little bit. Both of them are on potentially go-out shots, so they might play a little more conservative than the first couple of frames.
Yes, because neither one of them wants to give up the game to their opponent when they have hammer here. They'd much rather stay in control.
On the non-feature table with Marcus and Junior. Junior is on 5. It's 5-0, and he's just throwing his weights off now. Eddie's got a short one up there. He's throws that to hope that maybe Josh passes it and scores. He'd like to get on 5. And he's just going to give Josh a go for it.
Just let him have a free lag and doesn't think Josh has a 4 in him here. And he was right.
4-4. Didn't want to really throw his weight up there and just leave a 1 working. A little different than the standard game. Sometimes you'll decide to just get in someone's way, their lagging hole.
Okay, there we go. Josh just threw a nice deep 1. Looks like he's trying. Oh, might even be a little light deuce deep 1 there.
He's going to go ahead and try and go around this weight.
a little bit short, looks like.
Josh has to be very careful here. He really can't bump that weight, so he's probably just going to knock the blue weight off.
Well, that was what he was trying to do, and he missed it.
He was thinking about knocking the blue weight off. If he had have covered his red weight, then most likely Eddie would try and tap weights.
Now Eddie's going to try to get in there and get something working.
Love to have a
Be
little
careful
3 right there.
Yes, he'd love to have a 3, but he didn't want a 4.
Again, Josh has to just knock that weight off.
And he gets there this time. Now Josh has a couple of 1s on the table.
That's a good shot. See if Eddie just tries to stick that weight or if he goes ahead and tries to do a bump here.
Looks like he's trying to stick that deep
Yeah.
weight, maybe roll it over a little bit
It's a good shot.
into a spot where maybe he can lag with 1 on.
Probably if he got to the last frame and the weights were set up this way. If the weights were set up this way with the last shot, most likely Eddie would not try to lag. He would either try to stick the red weight to score 2 blue or possibly just hit the red weight. You cannot afford to lag there. If you lag a 3, you lose. So
Well,
that
although
is
Josh is trying to challenge him to do that.
absolutely. So Josh is teasing him a little bit, giving him the opportunity to try and stick and roll that weight or lag. He lags a 3, he loses. So just one of those kind of funny shots.
Eddie is going to lag here,
He's
though.
going to lag.
He's just going to try to lag just dead abeam that red weight, maybe barely pass it. He wants a lag that there's no chance it's going to get deep enough to be a 3, and he did get a good lag
That's
in there.
a really good shot.
Eddie played a lot of maze.
He was
He
a
knows
bit
what his
concerned
capabilities-
there.
But that was a very dangerous move, yes.
He's laughing at himself because he knew that was a risky maze shot right there.
Yes, if you or I were playing with him and it was our hammer, he probably wouldn't have let us give that a try.
No, he would have been like, hey, let's go ahead and stick that weight or knock it off. Eddie wants
So
to.
now Eddie has to just bang weights. He doesn't
Yeah,
want
he
anything
does
on the
not
table.
want to stick that weight right there.
And Josh is free to throw his weights as deep as he wants.
The deeper, the better.
Absolutely, because Eddie has to shoot at them.
Yeah, he can't take an opportunity. He cannot take a chance of sticking one weight here.
So I believe this is Josh's 3rd weight coming down.
Yeah,
This would be a good time to put a deep deuce or a 3 down there. And not quite going to get it as deep as he wanted.
So
Although it is deep enough that Eddie doesn't really want to stick this. It might be deep enough to give Josh a chance to come and try and stick it back and bump it to a 2 or 3.
it's at the logo. It's one of those shots that you think twice of. Should I stick it? Should I not? He's just going to drill this weight off.
And hope not to drive it.
Right.
As Eddie does throw hard enough, he can drive a weight from there. He could definitely drive that into a 2 or a 3 range.
Josh is free to lag. He's going to be lagging for a 3.
Absolutely. Because this may be Josh's only opportunity to get out in the game right here, to get out by scoring 7. Because Eddie will likely have hammer the rest of the game and be in a position to get himself out.
Wants to try and lag a 3 here.
It's like a fairly good speed there. It's not quite going to make it all the
Slow
way.
down
though,
a little
is it?
bit.
Yes,
So
it
makes
did drag out to there right in the middle, even though he just waxed that area. Still was
5
a
to
little bit
6.
slow. Now this is still a situation where Josh can go deep if he wants. He could try to put deep 1s like deuces down there. Something that Eddie has to shoot at. And if Eddie can stick it, then he can work on trying to bump Eddie up.
Has to be very careful not to throw too deep. You can't throw a 3. If you throw a 3, then the strategy would change,
Well, he could.
and
He might
Eddie
could with
would
it.
try and just cover.
Yeah. The trouble with throwing a 3 is exactly that. Eddie might cover it. If you could get a 3 that Eddie doesn't get a good cover on, then you
Yeah.
could get back and stick it for 2, you might be all right.
Just gonna
Eddie's
blast
not
off.
likely to stick very many weights here. He throws pretty hard and accurate, shooting at that outside edge of the weight.
Josh's third weight, or this is his third weight. With his last weight, he's going to want to throw a deep 1 or light deuce. This same exact shot would be a fantastic last weight.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Whoa. Edward just drove that one barely off the end of the board.
Almost stuck there. Drove forward.
So what is it Josh wants to do here?
He wants to throw a deep 1 or a light deuce. If he could throw a light deuce, he forces Eddie to just blast the shot. He can't afford to stick it. If he throws a 1, Eddie will probably try to stick it with his hammer.
And looks like he's got exactly that. A deep
Yep.
one's just touching
So,
the deuce line.
really good shot. If Eddie drives this weight by trying to stick it, he loses. So here he cannot lag. He has to just try and stick the weight softly with no movement.
Now another
Can't hit the side of
option
it.
which he is
Throw
taking
it
here
off,
is to
yeah.
throw the weight off.
Yeah.
If he doesn't like the possibility that he might roll that weight, he can just elect to put Josh on 6 because Josh now does not have the option to throw a deuce
Exactly.
at any point in this frame. And in fact, oftentimes you'll see Eddie, regardless of what Josh does, you might see Eddie play a short weight because, again, Josh can't even have more than 1 weight on the table, so
Yeah.
he can never cover a weight. So if that weight is in a position that Eddie thinks he can stick it with his last weight, he's likely he can either throw off here or he can play a short weight.
Throw off. He can't throw a short weight. If he throws a short weight,
There is a danger in it.
Yeah.
Although I have seen him do that before. It's an unorthodox play, but
Yeah.
Eddie will sometimes do an unorthodox thing. But if he likes where that weight's sitting, he may just throw off here. Looks like he's going to
just going to try and stick it.
try and stick it and move it a little bit. If he can get it over to the rail. Oh, almost.
Great try right there.
Trying to get it right up on that rail and make it a difficult shot for Josh to stick back, and that would allow Eddie to play a short weight. Although there is still the danger that even a short weight can be bumped to a 2 or 3.
On the non-featured board, Marcus just tried that a second ago. Junior threw a short weight across the foul line, and he tried to bump it up. Marcus won over on the non-featured board. Josh has 1 working. This is a bad deal here for Josh. He cannot cover his weight.
No. And it's probably it looks like it's in a
just gonna
fairly
throw
good
it
spot.
off. Yeah. The only thing you can do here is if you just think it's in a nut stick spot, you could hit the side of it and try and move it.
Yes.
But a really risky shot.
Although Eddie looks like he might have got a little outside that weight, and
Woo.
he did, and he hit and went off.
So Josh has the opportunity to move the weight to keep it from right there, put it in a different spot here. Again, you can't be too deep. So, a middle 1 at the logo is a pretty good shot.
Yes, it is. And preferably in a spot that's not the easiest to stick. So you want that weight to move a little bit.
Really nice shot right there.
Although it is a little bit outside where that last one was. This one might be right in that path that Eddie just took.
Eddie has to stick this weight.
He's going to come down and look at it, make sure he knows just exactly how much room he has and where it's sitting on the board.
You've probably heard the cardinal rule of shuffleboard. You never try and stick a 1 with the last weight unless you're 14 to 14. Well, this is just like being at 14 to 14.
It's exactly
And
the
you
same.
have to try and stick this weight. It looks like he did.
And he Uh-oh.
Oh!
Oh, just a little bit outside on that.
So
Rolled off of it.
advantage changes here. Now it goes to Josh's advantage. Josh is going to be the same, or Eddie's in the same situation. Has to throw a 1, can't throw a deuce.
And wants it preferably in a spot that's not the easiest to stick.
Yep. Josh just wants to blast this weight off. You can't really stick it. If you stick it, Eddie would just try and tap it forward. So you want to just blast the weights. He could have just thrown the weight off, but oh, did Eddie get a little deep?
He might have got just a hair deep. It's hard to tell
A
from here.
little deep there.
Yes, he did.
So here, Josh can cover that weight, which would be the best shot he could make. Cover that weight, or he's just gonna throw the weight and make Eddie knock his own weight. Try and make a combination here.
Or Eddie might try and bump that short weight up and maybe get it down there where he can play with it with his next shot.
Great shot.
That looks like an excellent shot.
What
right
a perfect shot. Fantastic shot.
Very good.
Still really, really good. You cover that weight. He now just covers the blue on the other side. Game's over. Eddie would have liked that shot to go maybe another 6 inches where it was side by side.
Josh is still going to just try and keep it covered. Now, the danger here is that if Eddie manages to pick that weight out, then Josh has too many on the board.
But he does have the hammer where he can knock his own weight off. So Eddie here has to try and pick out his blue weight or potentially cover, but at this, bump up, but I would say he's just going to try and hit his own blue weight at this point. Josh is concerned that Eddie might try and do a double stick, which was actually a triple.
No, it looks like maybe he's just going to see if he can. Oh! And he hit his short weight. Didn't get it out of there, and that just cost him the game.
Trying to go down and just touch that weight a little bit. Great match right there.
All right, so we have, looks like Marcus and Josh will be playing the finals for Texas Maze.